Hello and welcome to askLRR, back in the studio.
Yeah.
Where we haven't found all of the stands for these microphones yet, which is why Wheeler has a different microphone mounting system. Let's not worry about that too much. Hi, everybody. Welcome to askLRR, the show where, as a reminder, we answer your question. You ask LRR. That's us. We're LRR. You ask us, and then we answer them. And you can ask us by becoming a member of the YouTube channel. And then once a month, we put out a community post soliciting your questions. And then we answer those questions, and then we put this video out for everyone to enjoy, because we don't like the idea of gating the content behind being a YouTube membership. We just want you to support us if you so desire. Either, and YouTube makes us give something. They're like, you have to put something on this tier. So we were like, okay, you can ask questions.
Whether I'll answer them is another thing.
Yeah. So you can support us directly, by the way, by becoming a member of the YouTube channel, or if you prefer, on our Patreon at patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun. Everything we do is brought to you directly by your support, and we really appreciate it. So I'm here. I'm Graham. Hello. Joined by
Beej. I'm on this one side. I don't know if it comes through on the audio version.
And we do not have stereo panning.
No.
That would be really annoying.
Binaural kind of.
I'm here in your ear. I am behind you. And also Wheeler.
Hello, yes, I am Wheeler.
And he is Wheeler. And Paul's over there on the board, and we're going to just jump right in. Paul, hit us up with that first question. Joe Mitchell asks, what's your favorite piece of LRR content that you think most, if not everyone, has forgotten? The LRR deep cut of your choice, if you will. So I put down that I definitely wanted to answer this question.
Great.
And then I happened to see it again just before we started recording and went, oh, right. Now I need to actually think of something.
Oh, no.
So I did a quick perusal of the wiki, wiki.loadingreadyrun.com. If you want to find an exhaustive archive of everything that we've done, check out the wiki. Also, all of our videos are on loadingreadyrun.com. Everything is like linked from there. Whether or not those links still function is up for debate, but
it's a good library.
It's a good library. So there was a video that we did, or that mostly I did for school, I guess, kind of. So okay, it was released as a sketch in season 2, called The Professor's Funhouse, and I don't think it's online anymore. And I had forgotten this until I checked our wiki just now. But it went up on the website in 2005. In April 2005, and it was included on the season 1 DVD as an unaired video, because I had made it for school, and it won the UVic Student Film Festival Award for Best Script.
Oh, cool.
And then we were like, then it should go up on the thing, because it was, you couldn't enter something into the Student Film Festival if it had aired online.
I've been meaning to tell you all these years. Congratulations, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Really appreciate it.
Didn't know how to bring it up. Yeah. It's been so long.
It's just never been a good time.
Yeah.
And so it's like a riff on the old VH1 Behind the Music documentaries of a children's television show that is staffed by puppets. Right? So it's like, it's a bunch of puppets. I think I did all the voices. And it's like, this puppet, whose real name is this, played this character on the show. Right? So it's like all the puppets were also actors.
Right.
And Gib is in it as Martin the monkey. Right? So that's like a 3-stage thing. It's like Gib is playing this character who was in the Professor's Funhouse playing this character. Anyway, it's like this, like, it's a look at like this long-running children's television show, and all the good and the bad that happened with it. And I have not watched it recently. I don't know if it holds up. Again, this was 16 years ago, but I do know that, like, you know, in the manner of riffing on VH1 Behind the Music documentaries, it's like one of the puppets died. One of them had like addiction problems. There was I had like a squirrel that had like a squeaker thing in it, and so the bit there was like that from like smoking, it had throat cancer, and now it talks with a squeaker, right? So it's like, you know, that kind of like, haha, wouldn't it be funny if puppets, but
got cancer.
but yes,
Yeah.
wouldn't it be
Yeah.
hilarious if puppets had real problems? So, you know, like, but
It won a
I'm-
prize.
I assume most
Yeah.
people don't know about it, probably because it's not functional online anymore. But
yeah.
so there we go.
I don't even know if we have DVDs. Well, it'd be season 1 DVD, so I don't think we have any of
There's
those in
some
the store,
out there that
so-
are circulating. People are trading.
Store.loadingreadyrun.com.
Yeah, people are trading the season 1 DVDs. I think
That's good.
Maybe on the Discord now. I don't know. There used to be a thread on the forums for people like shipping season 1 DVDs around. So
That's good of them.
yeah, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts about that? I can't imagine you get
God.
deeper than that. But
I don't even think I have anything even ready to talk about. Wheeler, do you have anything?
I mean, there's a lot of references made to previous bits across Twitch chat, and the
Yeah.
one thing that I never see that I get really upset, and this is going to sound like pandering because it features you two,
Okay.
but the machine. I think that is. I think I genuinely think about that like weekly, and I think about it completely devoid of the whole, you know, I know you.
yeah,
two. Like, yeah.
Oh, I love it so much.
Yeah,
Just
it's-
occurs to you as a
It's just like in my head I think of the machine or like like I do that yes.
Yes. I don't remember where we were.
PAX Os.
Yeah,
because they call it the EFTPOS.
Yeah.
The EFTPOS, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, grab the FPOS. And I'm kind of like,
What the heck's
what are
an
you
FPOS?
talking about? Like, I'm trying to pronounce it, and they're like, yeah, is the FPOS. And I'm doing a bad Australian accent because that's all I can do. And then finally I broke it down like electronic funds transfer, point of sale. Oh, FPOS, that makes sense. We just call it the machine. And they're like, you call it the what?
Machine.
And
And
we're
then
like,
we realized
oh,
that no one in the U.S. does that either.
No.
they I mean they don't even really do like debit at the table when you're like out at a restaurant. But
No.
yeah, in Canada, everyone just goes, "Oh, can you bring the machine?" Or the wait staff will go like, "Here's your bill. I'll go get the machine." And it sounds really ominous. So we were like, "Great,
It has
let's
never
do it."
sounded ominous until we actually had it pointed out to us that it's like, you guys sound funny when you say that. And it's like, yeah, you're right. Oh, thank you for bringing that one up, though. That's
love
so
it.
good.
All right.
Oh, actually, then I do have a deep cut.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote a sketch
Hmm.
in like my first year, I think, because I had previously written a sketch that I'm like, well, I should be writing sketches because Snap to Chaos Theater should be doing sketches because maybe that will be a fun way for us to like do stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was writing this with the idea in mind that maybe this would become an SCT sketch someday when we actually got out of doing improv and started doing like sketches and other stuff, because that seemed to be a business model you guys were doing very well at, and we're like, maybe that's a thing we should be looking at doing, but it's impossible when everyone lives in different cities. And so I was like, I have a whole crew here of people, perhaps this is a thing we could film here. And it was I called it like hipster robbery because it was the easiest way to make sense of what it was, but it was literally two people coming home from a movie, and they get held up by a dude, and they lament the fact that he's just doing the most cliche robbery. That they're just like, no,
right.
we've seen this, but this doesn't make any sense to us that you would know. We've seen this too many times. You have to come with something fresh and exciting. And he's like, what? And they walk him through how he should actually improve the robbery, and they go through whatever. And I know we had to do a couple like punch ups with that.
Yeah, we filmed that up at the Breezeway at UVic,
We did,
right?
yeah. And I was just like,
Paul and Kathleen were the couple, I want to
think
say.
so, yeah.
And then were you the robber?
I think
the criminal?
I think I played
so.
the criminal, yeah. And I just
Maybe
I
I'm
liked
getting that. Maybe I'm misremembering.
I
it.
liked the fact that it was like, I have a sketch. You're like, okay, let's punch it up. And so we did it. And I'm like, I have no idea whether this is good. It fits into the milieu of what we do here. And I was very, like, I've only been here a year, I think, not even when we did it. So I was kind of like, cool, we did my sketch. That's awesome.
Nice.
Felt really good.
Cool. All right. Let's go on to the next question. LRR has always stuck out for its commitment to high production value and quality entertainment. Thank you for saying so. I would say your streams and shows with their individual intros and graphics are a big part of that impression. If you were to revamp or create a new intro for LRR as a whole, what do you think that would look like? So for Loading Ready Run as a whole, or this is another question from Joe Mitchell.
I have an answer for this,
Yeah.
actually, is that I know as much as you guys like the original Buying Treasures Media thing that you have done previously, whenever we do, like we've done Friday nights or the things
Yeah.
that we've done, where it's like, this is not Lure branded content, but it is BTM, so we have to have our thing on it. And I have been thinking about what I would want a new BTM intro to look like. And so largely is that same image, but it's not done in a 3D whatever. It's all done in like it looks like blueprint paper, like something's being sketched out on, as a
Oh, I
blueprint.
like that. That's good.
And it's kind of includes that. Astro Boy that Ken Stacy showed us, where it's like it's half Astro Boy, but it's half the internals. I'm like, I like the idea of showing off the internals of it, and then having our name come in beside it.
That's
all,
good.
All
I like
done
that.
in Blueprint.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what I'd like to see as a new intro for us to use, because we can use it everywhere, and it would be very simple and hopefully pretty effective.
In retrospect, that was probably a mistake.
Doing
the Bionic Trousers thing. So the notion at the time was that Bionic Trousers Media is the company and Loading Ready Run is a thing that we do. And if we're doing content for other people, like Friday nights, we were producing for Wizards of the Coast, or Strip Search, we were producing for Penny Arcade. Then that should be Bionic Trousers branded, so that then it's like, this is the corporate, like we produce this as a video production house. But no one pays attention, and I think we should have just been like, because everyone's like, oh, it's the Loading Ready Run people, or like, wait, who's Bionic Trousers? No, it's Bionic Trousers is the Loading Ready Run folks. We should just put the Loading Ready Run name on everything. It probably just would have been better branding, because no one's gonna be like, if they don't go to that website, it's so out of date.
I still get emails through it though.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like we probably should have just done the Loading Ready Run logo on all of that on Friday nights and Strip Search and stuff. It probably would have been more helpful. But I do like that idea. We still invoice as Bionic Trousers Media, so maybe we can get a new letterhead.
Yeah, that would be nice too. Yeah.
I don't know. I have tweaked and fiddled with the Loading Ready Run logo a couple times over the years, and I thought about it, but I don't know. It's very horizontal, which is not great for some uses. I think it worked well. Like people like it. Our merch folks at the warehouse tell it, because they handle merchandise for other brands.
Yeah,
and they tell us that because basically every company has as an option a T-shirt that's just their logo on a T-shirt.
Yeah,
and ours of that sells way better. Per capita to anybody else's. That's nice.
We haven't made a new version of it in a while, and I know that we're due to do something like that, but when we did the Pixel one, I'm like, that feels like that's our merch logo thing. But the Pride tee is also kind of that as well.
That's also true.
And it's like, it's a stand-in for buying an actual just straight logo on a T-shirt, which I know they say that sells really well, but from a merch perspective, I'm kind of like, I don't know if that's really I don't want it to just be logo on a T-shirt. I want it to be just a little bit fancier than just logo on a T-shirt. But anyway, I'm getting beyond that. Interesting thing about logo marks is that our logo mark, I think, is either 3.1, 3 to 1, or 3 point something to 1. It's longer than your standard 2 to 1. Like think Avis.
Yeah, Avis
is a logo mark that's a word mark, but it's a logo mark, but it is 2 to 1, and that's one of the most effective sizes, because it's very squat. And it fits very well on a lot of things. Ours is a little bit longer, which, like you say, does make it harder to fit.
Yeah.
But it's not impossible to fit. It's not like some other weird ones that are like all amorphous. It doesn't really fit right. So I still think we've nailed a really good, strong logo that also is very mutable. We can do lots of cool stuff with it.
Yeah, I like that. I like being able to play around with it and switch it up and stuff. And in case anyone really would like it spelled out for them, the design, the inspiration for it, because the name was Loading Ready Run based on the Commodore 64 thing. This is the 3 dots are loading, and then the big circle is like a bing, it's ready, and then the triangle is a play button for like and run, and it's very literal. But
do you ever get anybody mistaking the first R as Loading Record Run because it's a giant circle?
Yeah, I don't think
maybe.
I haven't seen that, but I could see how that would. Yeah.
We've had people call us Ready Set Run or Ready Steady Go, or mostly the biggest error we get is people typing LLR.
Yeah.
When they're like, oh, I love LLR, and I'm like, cool, what's that? I'm not actually shitty about it. I'm just like, hey, it's actually LRR, but whatever. But I don't know. Like, there have been iterations and stuff. This, frankly, this is the
Logo
playing
wear.
around with it.
Yeah.
Well, no, like this is the new version in that we've fiddled with it so much in the early years and did like alternate variants and stuff. And it's like, no, this is actually, this is what we want. I don't know. Is there like a show that maybe could use a different?
How is
on
this your card?
Oh my!
Feeling good about it?
Oh, it's the best
I
one on
love-
the people.
I love
Yeah,
it.
it's so good. Every time I've had somebody guest on it too, like Ben or Adam has come on, they get upset about how good it is. People will show up. It's the classic kind of an insult, but not an insult, where they're like, I don't watch this show because, they're coming off of Rhythm Heaven.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know anything about card games and I don't watch the show. I always stay for the intro. They love it. It is so...
That one's one of my favorites. I really like Let's Nope.
Yeah, me too.
Let's Nope has a great intro. I love the bonus intro. I love the bonus one that we did. That was, we had someone ask recently. They're like, was that legit or was that all? Did you do that as graphics? But no, we did that as like actual stop motion.
We had a conversation about doing it, and we were like, what should we do? And because I kept harping on things like, I want the classic, like, it's before the Peanuts Christmas special, it's a special presentation. That's what I want this to feel like. And then it got turned into this like, well, what if we did it like stop motion? What if we did what? And then Ian started cutting out stuff, and it's like, oh my God. And then all these things started happening, and it worked out so well.
Yeah, it was really, really good. And then you recorded the mouth
I did all the audio, yeah. Which is very hard to do when you're watching it and you're like, what is the beat? I don't know what the beat is. And then as I watched about a dozen times until I finally got down with the rhythm of all the pieces moving around. I'm like, oh, this is what it sounds like, I think. So, yeah.
So, I don't know if that was actually an answer, but we certainly talked. What's next? A third from Joe. For Wheeler, your dry wit has been a great addition to LRR in the last year or so. To what do you credit this extreme dryness? And do you have a favorite joke that doesn't take 30 minutes to tell that I might add to my repertoire? Appreciate that caveat, Joe.
I have a very good answer for this.
For which one, the joke or where you get your dryness?
All of it.
Great.
So when I was a kid, I liked to fight a lot. I was good at it. But I mostly beat up kids that were making fun of my nerd buddies. I just happened to be large and could punch. And my parents didn't like that, understandably. And so they're like, no violent TV. I'm talking no Power Rangers, no action movies, no nothing. And I'm like 8 or 9 or whatever. And I'm like, okay, can I watch comedy stuff still? And they're like, yeah, you can watch funny stuff. And so I watched The Simpsons and like Frasier. And
8 or 9 years old is good match.
Yeah, just like, and also just stuff that would like Larry Saunders show like reruns and stuff, and just
that one is dry.
old like Tonight Show stuff. And I figured out too where if I repeated some of these jokes or the style of those jokes, the adults would also laugh. And I'm like, oh, I can use this to manipulate these older people to buy me things I like or do things that I like or whatever. And so that happened. But it was also when the internet, like we just got a computer, and so I'm the type of kid and now adult that would be like, I don't get who is Ross Perot, and Google. I'm like, okay, I now know way too much about who Ross Perot is. Great,
but now I know where the jokes are funny.
Yeah,
or what they're supposed to be funny.
So now I'll be rewatching like stuff, and they'll like Simpsons, and they'll make like a Garrison Keller joke, and I'll just lose it. I'll lose my mind, much like how Garrison Keller did. And then for the joke, am I allowed to clean? It's not bad.
No, go for it.
Okay, great. So there are 3 guys, and they're on like a nature retreat, and they get lost in the woods. They're all pretty important big guys. One of them is a food distributor, one's an energy distributor, one's like a pharmaceutical distributor. And they get lost in the woods, but they find a genie. And the genie says, I'll grant you 3 wishes, and if I am pleased with your wishes, I will also get you out of this forest. And the first guy, the pharmaceutical, goes, well, I've always wanted to be a little taller, and so it makes him taller. And the second one goes, the oil guy goes, I always wanted to be skinnier, and he goes, and he's skinnier. Third guy goes, I want my right arm to swing like this. And Genie makes it happen. And then he's like, all right, second wish. And the pharmaceutical guy goes, you know what? That first one was selfish. I wish that all diseases were cured. Boom, happens. Second one goes, yeah, you know what? That was selfish. I wish there was no energy problem at all. Boom, happens. And then the food guy goes, I want my left arm to now swing the other way. And it happens. And then for the third wish, they go, I got a fun thing. We'll all do our wishes anonymously. And then we'll meet back in a year and we'll see if we can figure out what it was.
Okay.
So each of them, goes up to the genie. Who's like, the genie goes, and done. Guy smiles and poof, he's out of the forest. Second guy, poof, out of the forest. Third guy, arms flailing. It was like, the genie goes, and then goes, and poof, out of the forest. Year later, they're all meeting. It's a goddamn utopia. And the oil guy and the pharmaceutical guy are there, and he's like, all right, so what did you wish for? He's like, well, I wish that you and your family would have eternal happiness for the rest of your life. He goes, oh my God, that's so sweet. I wished you and your family would have eternal happiness for the rest of your life. Oh my God. I wonder how this all happened. What did the third guy wish for? Third guy comes up and he's just flailed around and goes, guys, I think I fucked up.
I do love a good Shaggy Dog story.
Yeah.
That's great.
That one's not that long, too.
It's not that long
it's-
compared to some that I know and have been told
yeah.
and heard. Solid. All right.
That was good use of time, though.
That was, yeah. Hey, speaking of Wheeler, the Anti-Muffin asks, can you tell us a little bit about your origin story, i.e., how you became a member of LRR? I feel like all I know is from Magic.
Well, as a kid, I used to beat a lot of people.
Okay, I want to hear this, yeah.
Yeah, so I cornered James,
Right.
the wimp that he is.
You wouldn't think that, because he's ropey and
For sure. But to me, he was a pissy little shrimp. I don't.
I can answer this.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah. So the first time that we sort of had you in anything was an episode of Friday Nights because you worked at YJ, or not even. I don't even know if you worked there at the time or if you were just.
I think I was a judge
helping
there.
run events or something, and you were just this guy that we knew because you ran events at YJ.
Yeah.
We were vaguely aware of you. Then at some point you moved to Vancouver, and then at some point you moved back.
we weren't really keeping tabs on you during that time, though. Just so you know.
Oh, nobody was. That was
It was the first. It was like, hey, what happened to that guy? What was his name? Ben Wheeler. Oh, he moved to Vancouver with his husband. Like, oh, okay. And then I heard it's like, Wheeler moved back, and I was like, oh, geez. I hope he and his husband are okay.
Oh God, no, worst year of my life. But please continue.
All right.
Yeah.
And then at some point, we still kept seeing you around YJ here and there. I don't actually think that you were in any other content for a while, and then North 100 started up with Serge and Alex and Jeremy White and Liam. Mm-hmm. And then Liam had to move away, and they were like, oh, we're going to lose our loud gregarious man. Hey, what do you think? They asked me, what do you think about Ben Wheeler? And I was like, oh yeah, that guy's loud and gregarious and fun and friendly and high energy, and he'd be great for the podcast. Sounds fun. And so then they got you on North 100. And then it sort of snowballed from there.
But I got to point out, the pivot point, I think, was the egg drop.
Oh, yeah, people love that egg drop.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, because that's where you came off of being like, I'm a guy who's on North 100, and came to like, I'm a guy who can actually just be your own little agent of chaos.
Yeah, I finally found an outlet that wasn't a weird internet comedy forum or just like anonymous sending
what else
into
are we,
like
if
late
not a
night
weird internet
shows or
comedy
whatnot.
forum?
I mean, yeah, personified. Yeah. That and that you heard it right from the horse's mouth. My origin story.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same way that anyone gets involved with Loading Ready Run is just belligerence.
But I got to ask, I mean...
just showing up and doing stuff.
That's us saying that? What do you think the actual pivot point is what I'm curious.
I mean, I think the egg drop was the big one to get me oh, this guy isn't going to piss his pants when a camera's on him. And I don't know. I really do enjoy the little because I'd done a whole bunch of improv and theater when I was younger, and again
Which
comedy,
we didn't know,
comedy
by the way.
writing. Yeah, and I sprinkle it through. I'm just it'll be like and when I did improv with your sister Kate, and then I'll fade into the night and a bunch of smoke. But I think I mean the streaming thing was pretty big. COVID, a great thing that happened. To
Yeah,
me.
absolutely. Life-changing for all of us, yeah.
Where, I don't know, starting streaming and then just having this intersection of people that are like, I laughed at this guy on a lure thing, and people are like, oh, I like this format. And then it actually ended up working out, which is wild. And so it's like, all right, I guess, hey, I could pull people too. And yeah, here we are.
Yeah, because I remember when we were like, hey, who wants to do this egg drop thing? And you were like, hey, I'd do that. And I think I think it was like, oh, yeah, all right, sure, why not? And then worked out really well.
Yeah, I'll do anything.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm aware of that now.
I gave you a pretty good reference because I was like, from being on North 100, I'm like, Wheeler's really funny. I think, he'd be great on the egg drops.
Right, because you were running tech for North
100.
100.
All that time. And I was like, no, Wheeler's good. I think he can hold his own. He'll be just fine.
Good. Cool. Well, there you go.
Thank you. That's so kind.
Paige asks, for Graham, I know you have or had a stutter. My 6-year-old son has a speech delay. Is there anything your parents did that you appreciated with regards to helping you with your speech? Anything you wish they would have done? No. So it's 2 things that I have, actually. I've got I have and had 2 different and poorly intersecting speech impediments. So I had a stutter, like the traditional, not nearly as bad as like Michael Palin in A Fish Called Wanda, but like that sort of thing. And then I still have, though it doesn't come up often, is a different impediment where I have trouble starting sentences if I am put on the spot or excited, and specifically with if the word starts with a vowel, with
an I sound.
It came up a lot during Checkpoint. I had trouble saying electronic arts.
Oh.
Right? Like because I'm thinking about it and getting nervous, I sort of almost clamped down on it there. But like for some reason, starting with like the mouth already open before the sound comes out is weird. What happens is my body tries to breathe in while I'm talking, which is not physically possible. And so I end up going like
you have a catch in your throat.
The air it's like, I don't know which way to go. And I just stand there going, and then, or sometimes in the worst cases, I'll make a horrible noise where I'm like, and then talk. And then people are like, oh my God, did Graham have a stroke? Is he okay? And it's like, thanks for bringing attention to it. But it happens, like I said, when I'm put on the spot, like when I am asked for my name unexpectedly, like when I'm buying something or, and someone needs to write it down, or like at a coffee shop or something, and they're like, what's your name? And I can't just say Graham. I can't just say it. I have to go like, and I have to ramp into it by going, my name's Graham, right? I have to like go like, because this is what I learned. So my parents were great. Mm-hmm. What they did was take the advice of my 3rd grade teacher to put me into speech therapy, and that is what they did everything that they should have, and that is what happened to me. It was me and another kid at the school who he just had the stutter, and the trick that the speech therapist taught me, essentially, here it is for free. I'm not a trained speech therapist, is just starting air going through before you start talking, right? So if I can go like electronic arts.
They made you. There was well, I'm screwing this pooch. You start with "My name is Graham," and you're here to say. You're about to say.
My name is Graham, and I'm here to say.
Electronic arts, also known as EA.
Please give me my coffee right now. So, start. What was it? It was. There was a mantra that was printed on like a dot matrix color thing. It was always use slow, easy, careful, smooth speech. That was the, like take a moment, think about it, then try to talk. Which is why it's difficult when I'm excited or put on the spot. I hate when it ruins a joke. When I'm like, here's the setup, here's the setup, here's the last setup, and the punchline. And the punchline. Hold on, it's real funny. Hold on. I hate it because it's like, no, I'm ruining the delivery. Now this joke is bad and I'm bad. So yeah, it's that's the trying to remember to just start sound coming out of my mouth before I start actually forming the words is the thing that gets around it, which is why when I'm excited or surprised by it, I can't stop and think about that, which is, I think, why my name gets written down wrong on coffee cups so often.
Yeah.
Because I say it fast. Because I go, oh, my name's Graham. And they go, right, Grant. I get Grant a lot. I get Graham. I go Gream.
Gream was awesome.
Gream rules everything around me. Yeah.
I think Grelm is a really good. It's the one I like to call you all the time.
I am Grelm. Hello.
That was fascinating to hear because I've never heard you explain it like so fully. To be like, this is the because I don't want to walk up to you and say, "Hey, explain yourself to me."
What's up with your speech, man?
Yeah. But did you ever try the actor's roar?
Which one's that?
That like, oh, that Blackadder thing, right?
That's kind of the same sort of thing.
Yeah,
right?
because it's like you get yourself rolling like Electronic Arts.
Yeah. It's trying to, because doing it just with like an exhale and not making noise would be the ideal. And I try to do that when it comes up. These days it doesn't come up a lot, mostly because I've just, from performing and doing word noises out of my mouth over the years, the grammar's not always there, but I've managed to sort of like work through it a lot so that most often people don't know that it's a thing. But when it does come up, it just means that when it does come up, it's really noticeable. Thank God it only happened like on stage, like once. I had it real bad on stage once in high school, and thankfully only one night. Because the problem is, it's like then the next night I was just shitting myself, being like, I hope that doesn't happen again, which made it more likely to happen again. But thankfully it didn't. But it's one of my only like solo speaking roles in one of the plays. Anyway, speech therapy. 7-ish Magpies asks, how do you all keep track of which games, equipment, and especially magic cards belong to LRR, the corporate entity, and which belong to individual members? I'd love to hear your different perspectives as company co-owner, business manager, and Wheeler. Now, Wheeler is...
it might be relevant because I log everything. Everything I bring into my possession or put into another possession. My magic card collection is the most meticulously organized thing you'll ever see.
Good.
That makes people so upset.
Good, because we don't.
Yeah. It frustrates me when I see people that don't have it that way, even though I obviously contextually for this, understandable. And at home when people are like, it's in the shoebox, it's just like, oh, you don't know how many werebears you have, huh? Well,
we're bad at that.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
But also
magic
the pure
cards.
volume.
Magic cards, we're bad at that. Equipment and games and stuff. I mean, the game is, if LoadingReadyRun buys the game, it's on the LoadingReadyRun Steam account.
Yeah.
Or
it's sitting in the LoadingReadyRun office.
Yeah, if we buy it physically, it's like, well, that's our game. You can borrow it, but bring it back. That's a lot easier to keep track of. Gear, like equipment, it's gotten a little interesting during the pandemic. Obviously, we made that joke about chairs.
Yeah. Oh God.
And also part of the reason that Wheeler's microphone is on a different stand is that we have 4 of these microphones, the one Beej and I are using, and one of them is at James's house, and one of them is at my house.
This is the Shure SM7B. It's a favorite among podcasters and influencers. And Wheeler is using the Shure MV7, which is like this microphone.
It's like this, but cheaper and has USB. If you're interested, I would recommend this one.
Yeah.
You want the MV7, that's this bad boy.
Yeah, it's cheaper, it has XLR and USB. Heather's got one, she really likes it.
Which one's better?
That one I think actually is probably
honestly,
better.
I think that
price
one,
performance.
This one has is like great if you're doing music production, but it's not there are like audio stuff in here that's not relevant for the vast majority of people.
Okay, well, I'll take this one home, give it a test drive,
now,
not write it down.
So part of the problem is that obviously there's that, and we need to bring those back, and it means I'm probably going to buy one of those. but we don't even know where like the stand went, which is super annoying. So anyway, so yeah, we had a spreadsheet.
Yes, it still exists because it's a Google sheet. So it's
The
on,
spreadsheet still exists. I don't know how up to date it is of
it's
like
probably
the
not.
gear that people have signed out.
By and large, we at the beginning were like, write all your stuff down, and there's been very little like kind of like that ebb and flow of how do we like little things here and there. But I think it's mostly accurate, and I don't think we're going to lose much as a result.
Magic cards, it's just sort of generally understood that like anything that Wizard sends us or anything from Crack-a-Packs or something, that's loading ready runs.
Yeah.
And if there's something specific that someone's like, oh, I really want that, and it's like a couple bucks, it's like, okay, just have it, right? If it's like, I really want that $45 card, then
I bet you do.
Then it's like, and typically every so often, though it's been a while, we take a box of stuff down to Yellow Jacket and go, please give us store credit and divide that store credit amongst these people, and so everyone gets store credit out of it. But
I still gotta use mine. I probably have a fair bit down at YJ.
you buy some dice or something.
Yeah,
They sell board games?
Board game, maybe. Yeah, comics. I should just spend it all on comics.
I don't know if they do. Does YJ do comics anymore? Did Ed get out of that game?
I have no idea.
All right.
Sorry.
Maybe, probably. It's still Yellow Jacket comics and toys.
Yeah.
Although I don't think there have ever been toys, so...
He should really just get into the whole calling it comics and cards or something. But,
that would imply change.
yeah, that's fair.
So what you're saying is, or what I'm hearing, Beej, is that we, the corporate entity of Loading Ready Run, or Bionic Trousers Media, should get Wheeler to organize.
Oh my god, that's my dream. James did that. James came to me with his entire collection, cleared out the closet. I made Ashley Turner the happiest woman in the city. I turned 9 fat pack boxes, 4 4-column boxes, 2 2-column boxes, and binders into a single 2-column box.
Dang.
Jeez.
Wow. Organized alphabetically.
But for how long?
Also, well, I mean, maybe he just like tossed it in the back of his car and cards went flying everywhere. And also marked, depending on, their price of certain value or not. I love that stuff.
Because Jer gave it a shot, and he actually did a hell of a job. Jeremy Petter did that. I think Serge...
Which shows you how long ago that was.
Yeah, Serge, I think, had looked maybe, but I like this idea, but it is definitely not a podcast conversation.
No.
But it is a conversation.
Every time that we do like a Moonbase cleanup, like when we were getting ready to move, or when it's like when we try to do like an annual like spring cleaning thing, right? It's like, all right, everyone, let's someone's gonna wipe down the bathroom, someone's got to figure out like dusting, someone's got to like root out the prop room or something, and then invariably, like Alex or Cameron, or Alex and Cameron in some situations will be like, we'll take care of the magic cards, and then they're just gone. You don't see them for days.
No.
I am what's his name, Mr. Wolf, the cleaner. I'm the cleaner.
Okay.
You call me, I get it done, leave me be. You are going to have so much room and so much money.
Because I sorted our tokens because I was sick of the thing that was going on with all of our tokens for so long. So
you got to resort that box.
I went in to do that, and it's like that's the only time I'm doing it. I'm not going back and doing it again. But it's like it needs to be somebody's job to facilitate, to be the steward of that, and that's not really
steward of the tokens.
I'm getting excited already.
My stance, my stance within the Moonbase is that do not ever bring anything here that belongs to you unless you leave with it. It's the reason we have cubbies. Everybody has a cubby. We used to IKEA Calyx things, and everybody has a cubby in there with a door on it, except Wheeler.
Yeah.
Because we don't have enough cubbies at this point, so we had to
buy some more cubbies, I guess.
We had to make enough room for everybody who is on salary, and that's how we divided it up. And there's still, I think, people who aren't covered by that. But my stance has been essentially, if it's yours, put it in your cubby. Don't leave it out. If I run across anything that is getting in my way and I don't know what it is, then it's going to get
goes in the fire.
It's going to get moved, right?
Yes, it gets moved.
And it's and people get mad because they're like, well, but just don't touch my cards. I'm like, how am I supposed to know they're your cards?
Oh my god!
Right? And I'm like, I can't tell if anything belongs to anybody, so I have to assume it's all. Yeah, but it was mine. And I'm like, yeah,
That's
then
why
put it in your damn cubby.
Whenever we borrow your cards for doing those deck techs, I'm very careful
I
to
appreciate
keep them separated from
Yeah.
anything else, and I shepherd them back to generally Ben's cubby.
I can't imagine just leaving a thing.
Right?
Yeah.
What?
Like I have stuff on my desk that
driving Wheeler
that I
wild.
know is mine, but it's like oh, it's my hand cream or it's my eye drops. I'm like, no one is going to touch those things because they're not part of the overall.
It's also your desk, right?
Well, it kind of has become
what
my
if I
desk.
want-
Yeah. So
What if I want Beej's hand cream? What if I want Beej's hand cream?
You
mean,
lick
it's-
it off his damn fingers. It's the only way you're getting that.
I'm still not at that level of pandemic
Scrape?
comfort. Maybe.
yeah.
All right, next question. From Geeky Tea Kitty. Since the beginning of the pandemic, you've had streams from several lunar satellites. How do the recordings from these make their way to Heather for upload? Has this resulted in any new methods or workflows that will be standard practice moving forward to make Heather's job easier overall / easier to do from home? If I may.
Yeah.
Because you will have had
You can start with this answer, and I'll try to finish it. I
Sounds good.
guess.
So let me answer the middle part of that first. Has this resulted in any new methods or workflows that will be standard practice moving forward? No, because we had it excellently before, and it's been annoying since the pandemic. Basically, the way that Heather has to do it now, and correct me if I'm wrong, Beej,
I will try.
is that Heather downloads the VOD from the Twitch backend, which are thankfully in good shape. Previously, we worked from local recordings, and still now, and if there is
It
a
is our
problem,
preference.
yeah, it's our preference to use local recordings. And if there's a problem with the Twitch end of things, like I had one the other day that the frame rate was going all weird, but my local recording was fine, so I sent that to Heather instead. And then she has to, using the glory that is QuickTime Player 7, manually edit out the ad breaks and the going online and offline screens before we upload it to the YouTube channel.
No.
It is not on an individual VOD. It is not a particularly challenging
Onerous, yeah.
or time-consuming thing for an individual VOD. Do you know how much we stream? So, what the system we had before was this delightful script called Axe Hand, named after our Crapshots character Axe Hand, where the streaming software creates the recorded thing and generates a text file that has basically the frame counts of when the ad breaks, when all the camera angle changes happen, including like cutting to ad breaks and going online and offline. And then we can take both of those items and put them into an FFmpeg script, and then it does all the axing by itself, and then the admin is minimal. It was a beautiful system, but it can't work with all the lunar satellites. So we're very excited about. I'm not Heather. I'm very excited for more streaming back happening at the moon base, so that it alleviates that from Heather. What did I miss?
I want her to work less hours a day.
Same.
Than she's currently working,
Same.
which is too many. And by and large, it's like, and so people will also be like, why QuickTime Player 7? Because QuickTime Player X or QuickTime Player 10, they dropped some specific ease of use features. You can go looking for people who talk about this all the time. But QuickTime Player 7 is very easy to kind of do your in-out cuts with. And then but that only works as far as Mojave, I think, 10.14.
It doesn't work anymore in
It doesn't
new
work
versions of
on
Mac OS.
Catalina and newer. And
It's very into the weeds now.
yeah, so it's like, so we've been working. I've been working on Heather to be like, can you try QuickTime Player 10? She does. She's like, it kind of does it, but it's not perfect.
It's not good.
Well,
It's
why not?
ass.
Why not do it through Final Cut Pro?
Because it takes 8 years.
Yeah, because you have to open the damn thing up, and then when you chop it all up, it's like, great, I'm gonna export the whole thing and recompress it. Okay, thanks. The file is now 10 times the size it was previously.
Yeah.
Why? Because it doesn't do variable bitrate encoding.
I would like, for your sanity and hers, I would like to head this off at the pass as best as I can. Please do not leave a comment with your suggestion of the software that we should use to solve this problem. I promise you, we have tried it. Or you're suggesting something so tremendously in the weeds that it will not actually be faster.
Yeah.
So,
But we appreciate all your help
Yeah.
and knowledge and the things that you're thinking about right now. But it at this point is largely not worth it. If we reach a point where we're like, screw it, let's ask everybody and see what they happen to say.
I'm excited about the M1 Max, and hopefully that greater speed will be of assistance.
Yeah.
So that will.
Me too.
Fingers crossed on that. Looking forward to doing more streams from the moon base. Next. Which interest that you have not monetized yet brings you the most joy in reference to that crap shot with Graham and the glowing orb? Asks Avind Hilusund. Are you familiar with that crap shot?
No.
I'm like rooting around in the prop room, and Kathleen's like, "What are you looking for?" And I'm like, I "It's around here somewhere. I know it is." And then I pull out just like a glowing, floating orb, and the joke is, it's the only thing that brings me joy that I haven't monetized yet. And then of course, it cuts to a YouTube video with like, "Hey everybody, welcome to episode 1 of a new series that I'm pretty excited about," implying that I've
Orb
then
time.
monetized the.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Thank you, Australian Siri. No, I was not talking to you.
You had me at orb.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think, actually. Is
I
there
have
stuff I
one.
like doing? What, Beej?
Music.
Music.
Yeah, I haven't, and yet I've been thinking about it because
Right.
I realized that on Desert Bus, boy, my fingers are getting back in shape now thanks to Desert Bus. And I was like, I keep saying, "Oh, I'm going to practice all year," and I'm like, maybe what you need to do is monetize that practice. Maybe you need to find a way to, whether that's I'll get on my own Twitch stream or I'll get on like Heather's Twitch stream or something like that and be like, I'm going to just learn how to play songs. I'm going to practice them over and over for an hour, and you're going to have to be forced to listen to me do all that. Maybe that would be an idea. And now already people are going to be putting comments in being like, "You should totally do that." And I'm like, yeah, I maybe should, but maybe I shouldn't. I don't actually know yet.
Mental health is also important.
Yeah, and it's like I just need to have I think I just need to make the room to do it, and then start structuring my life to be a way that people live a life, as opposed to just being like, I'm just going to sit on a couch and let the internet wash over me, as opposed to like I maybe should actually start to live a life, and that would be way more helpful.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything offhand. I mean, my daughter, I guess, right? Like that is something I very much enjoy. I like hanging out with her and spending time with her, and that's not something I'm monetizing.
Not until she learns how to use TikTok.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get there. People have asked this before, but just to clarify, if she wants to do content creation and make things for the internet, we will be there to support her 100% and make sure that she is prepared and protected for the things that the internet can bring. But if she wants to be like, "No, screw you, I'm going to go be an actuary," we'll be like, "Great, awesome, kid. We're here for you. We're here for you anyway." We are not beginning a Stark family content pipeline.
You don't have a plan for the talk being about SEO.
Don't ever join an MCN.
Yeah.
You got to tag these things better.
Yeah, I do like, though, I definitely is like, go be an actuary, save some money for your retirement, and ours. Please save some money for our retirement,
Yes,
too.
indeed. What do you do that you don't monetize?
Cooking, baking,
Oh, yeah.
music, religious theology, philosophy, the arts. I don't know. It's kind of the nice thing about being a bit of a one trick with, two trick, I guess, magic and hard game, soul game, is that I can kind of keep a portion of my life sequestered away.
That must be nice.
But when it leaks out, I'm also the kind of person where I'm like, yeah, I'll talk about this a bit,
That's fair.
and then it's just.
I mean, to be fair, I also use that to my own advantage. And so for example, on the day we're recording this, Kathleen just started a Play It Forward stream of Shin Megami Tensei 5, which is how she is going to be able to play Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Yeah.
Right? We sometimes use this to our advantage. It's like, I really want to play this game. Can you schedule me to be playing this game? Because then I will have an excuse to play the game.
Yeah.
So there's that. Next. Hi, you are all married men.
Yeah.
To each other? I don't. Oh, okay. Just
Now.
we're all married men. Yes. Do you have any advice for someone who is getting married in the near future? From Ketel Helland.
You will inevitably think that your wedding did not go as well as you wanted it to. Whether you'll
I
be
did
like,
not have that experience.
right, that's, well, okay, so that it's like, I could have spent more money on decorations, I could have spent more money on a venue, I spent way too much goddamn money on a cake. That's actually good advice. Don't spend over $400 on a cake. It's not goddamn worth it. Just do something nice or interesting or fun that is not pay somebody to make you a custom interesting cake. No. You find somebody in your family who can make cakes.
Oh, yes,
and let
that's
them
true.
do it, right? You know,
Just like Yeah,
You're there to have a good time.
Don't spend too much money on. I know you're looking for marriage advice, not wedding advice,
Yeah.
but seriously, don't spend too much money on your wedding. You know what? No one is going to remember whether or not the chairs had those like froofy bow things that the chair covers that go to the floor. That would have cost us so much money, and we were like, I don't think anyone's gonna care. No one's gonna care.
Yeah.
No one's gonna remember.
If you had told me you had those, like, but Beej, don't you remember? I'd be like, I don't remember.
no,
No.
exactly.
How long have you been married for, Graham? I asked Beej earlier.
6 years? No. Well, yeah, coming up on 7 years because Penelope just turned 6. So,
Sweet summer child.
how long have you been married?
7
years? Yeah, exactly. It's not that much longer.
Well, Junior, I almost cracked my fingers in a way that would break them. I don't know where I was going with this. Here's my advice, though. Ideally, you're not an asshole, the person asking this.
Yeah.
And ideally, the person you're marrying is also not an asshole.
Those are both real big keys.
And if you aren't an asshole, and the person you're marrying is not an asshole, if you two continue along this path of not being assholes and to get to do it together, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got an issue, resolve it. There's no like specifics necessarily. It's just like, I don't know. Just,
I'm going to reference something that came up with us a lot, which was that people, after we got married, Kathleen and I, people were asking, like, so, what's it like? What's married life like? And our response was, it's the same.
yeah.
Marriage is not meant to be a change. Marriage is going, we like this and we want this to continue. So if you go into the notion of marriage as like, okay, like maybe it's not ideal at the moment, but then we're going to get married and then
Yeah.
no,
No.
bad idea. Make sure that things are stable. Like marriage is like, we got this worked out. Let's lock that sucker in.
Yeah.
Right? That should be marriage.
My God, the tax cuts.
Yeah, right. Like,
That has not been a thing. It's not.
Yeah.
You don't get tax cuts for being married.
No, but you get to make jokes about it, which is
Yeah.
what I meant.
People
yeah.
think that it's been more annoying filing our taxes.
I let Maxback decide for me. I do all my stuff through
having a kid,
yeah.
then you get tax credits.
I do it online and be like, here, let the program figure out whether or not we get to share credits with each other, whatever. I cannot be bothered.
Yeah.
I will say though that you definitely want to work out all like the you want to have a true and honest conversation about all the things that are like important to both of you in terms of managing a relationship, and depending on how long you've been together,
I mean,
you
also,
may have worked those things out.
Also, we were together. Here's a question: how long were you together before you got married?
Like a year and a half, maybe.
Wow.
Not long, but also we had this like, let's see, both of our brains are broken in a very specific way that interlocks very well.
That's very close to something I used in my vows that I wrote.
Yeah.
Which was like, find someone with complementary flaws.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, I got your back, you got my front. It's all good to go on that end. We like this, and we're the kind of people where it's like, if we like it, we commit. You know, I've been playing Magic for 20 years.
Right.
So it's just like, yeah, nope, don't want anything else. Nope. We're going with this one.
Because we'd been together, some of which was long distance, but we'd been together for like 12 years.
Yeah.
Beforehand.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's like you have been married by that point. By the time you make it to that,
Yeah.
it's like we've been living together for X number of time. We were dating before X number of time. I think it's ready to actually, make the jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not,
My parents have almost been together for 40 years, and they like were dating each other together for like maybe a year. Like it's either just a bit less than how long we had been together, my husband and I, or just a bit more. And it was just kind of like maybe it's something in my blood of the like, no, I like this. Yep, we're good. Don't need to worry about that.
I was more of a, how do I know this is going to work out? And asking my parents about that and getting two very different answers. And, boy, that was a fun goddamn week, let me tell you. But coming off of that, like, I mean, in my vows was essentially the idea of like, I don't know if this is the correct thing to do or not. All I know is that it's the most correct thing to do.
Yeah.
Right? It was like, I don't have 100% answer on this, but I think I think I'm far enough along. This is like a road trip, right? It's like you're in a car with somebody and that person brought sandwiches and you're like, I didn't expect that. But that was a welcome surprise to find out. And it's like, it's nice to know that we can do those things for each other. And then that was that I'm not giving you all my vows, obviously, but it's like, but it is that sense of, if you feel like you're 80% there, chances are good that you're kind of in the right boat. That if you're still hemming and hawing, it's like you don't want to get married just yet. You should wait a little bit longer. But if you're like, I feel like this is the most correct thing for me to do right now, and you're the kind of person who like needs that kind of reassurance from yourself, it's like, I think it's okay to do that. Nothing is ever permanent either. You can always get divorced. It'll suck. I haven't had friends who've gotten divorced. It's like, it sucks because it's so much. It's really good to have that happen to you because you need to get away from that relationship. But untangling all of that is going to be a huge mess. But it doesn't mean that it's permanent, right? Nothing in life is permanent.
Communicate.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Talk. Don't be like, oh, my significant other never does this thing that around the house, and I'm not. And it bugs the crap out of me, and I'm going to let this eat away. And it's like they should know that. Just do stuff. Everyone should do stuff around the house. Be like, oh, that's a thing that needs doing. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. But if your significant other doesn't do a thing that you want them to do, please just talk. Please talk.
Nothing is weird. Don't have the idea that this thing, this quirk, this ritual or whatever is going to be weird. Or like, my spouse does this. Isn't that weird? No. It's just don't question that unless it is harmful. But don't question that. Just do it. And
if you're married, you're all in.
Yeah.
Dan Savage had a great thing I heard one time because he's been married for however many years and they have a kid too, right? And he says the idea of the price of admission. And he's like, if you have a husband or wife, spouses that are like, they leave their socks on the floor in the weirdest place, but it's always in the same place, but it's always the weirdest place, and they always leave their socks on the floor, and it bugs the hell out of me. It's like, well, that's the price of admission. That sometimes it is the thing of like, if you want to get into the program, it's like you have to understand that there's going to be little things that are going to bug you here and there, and sometimes those are just like, can you fix those? Well, if you try to address them, but they're not getting fixed, but they're things that you're like, that's a thing where I'm like, I'm able to live with that idea of X thing existing. I mean, that is the price of admission, and that's okay sometimes to be like, I recognize that because there's probably the same things from me that to them they're considering the price of admission. I like to load the dishwasher a certain way. It bothers Heather so much that I have to keep biting the inside of my cheek all the time whenever she loads the dishwasher. That's the price of admission.
Kathleen and I also disagree on the best way to load the dishwasher.
Hell yeah!
Yeah. That's same here. I load, he unloads. Yeah. Kiefer's big thing is that he says I clean like I'm a montage. Like I'll be like doing one thing here and then I'm snap over here. And at the end, everything is sparkling clean.
Yeah.
But he's just like, can you just stay in one room? Like, why don't you finish that and this? I'm like, oh no, because this is on the way to do that. And then I do this and this and this. And
We've surmounted the dishwasher thing by just, we don't both load the dishwasher at the same time.
Yes.
If we are both cleaning the kitchen, one of us is handing dishes to the other person, but we don't both try to interface our styles of dishwasher loading, because then it's just
that's
chaos.
Chaos.
Absolute chaos. The dishwasher will rattle itself to pieces.
Whereas I had to say, no, the forks go to the back, because if the forks go to the front and I trip and fall over, I have 90 forks embedded into my goddamn chest. So they have to go to the back, because if I trip and fall over, then they don't end up in my eye. And she's like, what?
Beej, you live on like the set of a Nickelodeon game show or something?
I'm with Heather on this one.
Yeah.
What?
I wear Crocs everywhere in my house because I have hardwood floors and I wear wool socks. And I am not the kind of person who can walk around a hardwood floor in wool socks and not eat shit on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So I have to have grip. And it's just like, I'm afraid I'm going to fall over. And I've fallen on the floor when I was young and hurt my head and couldn't see straight for a few hours. So there's something like drilled into me from those experiences that I'm not going to get a concussion ever again.
Good old socks and Crocs theory. And what the Crocs, by the way, just to complete the image, are lime green.
Yeah. They're not even real Crocs. They're knockoff Crocs. Socks and knockoff Crocs.
And so you got like these brown wool socks. Like what color?
Oh no, they're black. They're my favorite socks.
Okay.
I have 12 pair of these, so that I can just reach in the drawer and grab 2 socks, and they always match.
This is going to be the most viewed askLRR of
can't
all
just
time.
give this away?
Yeah.
I didn't show both of my feet.
Yeah, maybe
fair
this
enough.
one should be premium.
Oh, that seems like an appropriate place to take it home. Thanks everybody for joining us for askLRR this week. Sorry if we didn't get to all the questions, but hey, please ask questions again next month. And if you want to get some questions in, become a YouTube member. And if you don't want to do that, we also have the Patreon at patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun. Also, the people who subscribe on the Twitch channel. This is all the pieces of the pie that make this whole thing possible. So. Until next month on askLRR, I have been Graham, joined by Beej.
Hi. Bye.
And Wheeler.
I have been Wheeler.
And Paul's been running the board. And thank you all for listening. Bye, everybody.
Bye.